How the heck are you guys? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to day 51 on our grind for glory. What is the grind for glory? Well, that is our quest, our absolute march to reach the fourth chest, the 25,000 blood chest for the Nightmare 4 guild boss. I'm just going to show that really quickly. It's a brand new thing, guys, because we've transitioned from free to play to the grind for glory. Oh, excuse me, 2,000 blood. 2,000 blood, excuse me again, 20,000 blood. So maybe it's gonna be slightly easier than I had anticipated. All right, let's keep marching on. What are we doing today? We are gonna talk about single target DPS arena. Also, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Lieutenant Sheik. He's an up and coming YouTuber who actually helped Bombada find 2 of the 4 secret achievements featured in my secret achievements video. And guys, if you missed that video, the link will be in the description. This is going to be, if you saw my anti-air one, I'll put the link in the description to that. It'll be similar to that. I'm going to walk you through maybe not the best possible team, but my best possible team, my best strategy. I've done a lot of testing on this. I'm very happy with where I've settled. I beat absolutely almost every team. There's a couple exceptions I'll talk you through just because I'm missing certain champions. But for the champions, the heroes on my roster, I think I've got the best thing going I possibly could. And guys, we're gonna have some surprise summons at the end of this video. We've got 3 ancients and we did a 10 pull of rares. We did this live on stream last night. The luck for the weekend continued. You're gonna have to stay to the end to see what happens there. Let's get back to the arena. So this is also gonna be a spotlight on Deimos and I guess a little bit on A5 Wrath, but I think a lot of people know just how potent A5 Wrath is. However, Deimos is considered the guild boss king. He's gonna help us a lot in our grind for glory, but he's so gosh darn good as well for the arena. So let's hop right in there. I only have a little bit of time left. As you can see, I only got 41 minutes, so we gotta film quick. Let's do a refresh so we just can get a fresh layout. And let's just, honestly, hat sit Zila 2, I don't care. Let's take on this first team. I'm gonna quickly just tell you, I'll show you Deimos to start and then we'll do everything else at the end, similar to what we did with Brienne in that spotlight for anti-air. Deimos is nasty. If you want him to be really, really, really nasty, you gotta make him A5. So I was lucky enough to pull 2 Deimos and I put 4 soul stones into him. If you get him, put soul stones into him, he's tremendous. We'll fully break this down at the end, but I'll just tell you now, A5, he's gonna get these full stacks of tearing that allow him to do extra damage, but then when he reaches that full stack, he's gonna start ignoring defense. And for this, where they have high defense in the Overlord section of single target DPS, he melts them. He just melts them. They crumble at his feet. It's pretty tremendous. I'll show you the gear really quick. He's wearing the best gear on my account, the exact same gear you saw Brienne wearing. He's wearing a curse set, but that really doesn't matter because it's single target. So he's only going to get 6% bonus. This scales off of how many enemies are within his attack range. However, the gear is really good, as you can see. This is the best gear on my account. This piece over here is just gorgeous. You can only get attack speed on ancient gear, and we got a lot of it when it comes to breastplates. And we got a lot of it. And there you go, pretty solid gear. Let's get right into the fight. I'll talk you through it as we go. But you can see that we can also, maybe I'll do one battle. This works very well with Autumn as well, but we've got Dolores now, so why not spotlight her? So we got a 3-man, not a 4-man team from the Nightmare faction. We got Dolores as a great booster, and then we've got some great, just a little extra touch of some big, booming, melting, delete button, single target DPS, and that's gonna be Nocturne. All right, let's hop into this fight, folks. Another German, we're facing Telecom. I'm actually an expat German. I'm obviously from the States. So we let this roll up. And for me, the placements are extremely important, just as I articulated in my anti-air video. You're really thinking about whose ult am I using when, and then that kind of determines when you're dropping people. So we've got A5 Wrath. Like I said, we'll do a mini spotlight on him. We don't really need any healing. Technically, Dolores is a healer, but we all know we're using her for that inspiration, not for so many big healing. So Wrath just does it himself. Look at how big these healers are. 12k, 12k, 12k. You see Dolores is ready to go, but we're gonna wait for Deimos because we need these ults to time out correctly. Wrath is already doing a bit of God's work. Now we can face Deimos, and if you guys might be wondering why I don't put them further up like these guys have up here. Well, because I want all 4 of my DPS to be within range of Dolores, so when I turn on her aura effect and they get that crazy inspiration, those big attack buffs, I want them all to benefit from it, right? So I'm happy to delay them reaching us by just 1 or 2 seconds if it means that when they finally reach us, they don't last there very long. And you'll see here, if you put Wrath in the square, the guy kind of stops in between 2 squares. There's no clever timing to it like there is in like the Salazar boss fight for Artifact Material Raid. He just does it for you. So now you can see Deimos still is able to hit him even though he's more in the square in front of Wrath. And there we go. This was actually a decent fight, so this is gonna be pretty close. However, I don't really care about the first fight. We're all just setting up for rounds 2 and 3. And then by round 4, we should have this in the bag. So we placed Dolores. You can see she can load her ult up pretty quick. Some decent initial cost there. Now they all start going off. Dolores is going to load up really fast, but before we actually trigger Dolores, I want to put down Arrogance. And you see here with his nice range, he's going to also be in range of Dolores and be in range of attacking the enemy. So I'm going to let him get one attack off just to make sure, and now I'm going to trigger Dolores, and now that guy's gone. Just like that. Like 1 second, they all get one Dolores boosted. Oh, no. Yeah. I thought for a second they won. I was like, no way. Yeah. And now that guy's absolutely done. And then look at Deimos. He's already almost fully charged. Good to go. We wasted Dolores' ult a bit, but just because we have a big lead doesn't mean it was a waste. Trigger there. This guy might even die before we put out Nocturne. Deimos is that good. He's gone. I love this fight. I love it. I will say this guy's BP was a bit lower. Usually I'm fighting people more like 300k BP, and the potency, the strength of your enemies scales off of the average BP between your team and their team. So these are weaker units, so they're really melting, but they still melt pretty quick otherwise as well. So Nocturne, guys, you might be saying, oh, he's using another legendary. We could kind of bring anyone, except for the really close fights, it really doesn't matter. So you see, this guy's out to a decent lead, but now our team's really getting into gear. And let's see, I think we're just gonna melt him. Yeah, we're just gonna melt him. One thing I hate about this fight, guys, is it's so hard to see the health bar. So like, I thought that was a lot closer. I thought this guy had like 10 or 20% left. Obviously that wasn't true. So now onto the 5th round. By the time you reach the 5th round, nothing matters. This guy could have 5 Salazars. It doesn't matter because unless you can kill these guys instantaneously, these flaming ogre guys, they're gonna hit the ground. So even though they don't reach the portal, they will hit it. So with 9.6, it's over for him as it is. However, we can trigger Nocturne. When you trigger his ult, it gets wider, so he can already start hitting. Boom, boom, boom. This fight is over. We can trigger Dolores if we want for fun, but the second this guy slams the ground, it's gonna be over. Let's see what happens first if we beat him or he slams the ground. We're just gonna beat that guy. Here comes a second. Whenever they decide to start slamming the ground, there's my alarm to wake up to do the video. There we go. You can see these guys can barely do anything against us. Doesn't matter if they have Zila 2, doesn't matter if they have Hatsit, doesn't matter if they have Dolores. I guess we have Dolores, so we even that playing field. But you can see a bit low BP. Let's try to find another team and hop on in there. I'll show you the stats really quick. You will see Wrath puts up comparable stats almost to Deimos. I mean, Deimos is nasty. Keep in mind, Wrath killed that first guy by himself, so he gets like a big early lead of, I don't know how much, 800,000 or something. You can see Wrath is fantastic for this fight, and he as long as he's the only guy taking the aggro from the enemies, you don't have to really worry about a healer, so that's kind of huge. So A5 Wrath, man, is so sick. And if you're wondering why A5, I'll show you specifically when we go back into the hero roster, but he gets self-sustain. He gets 30% heals based on the damage he does during his ult, which is a lot. These are like 12k heals. Those are really big heals. All right, let's look for at least one more nice fight. Let's try to find someone with more BP. All right, this is a dangerous team. This team is hot and dangerous. This is a team we actually could lose to. So now talking about why this is the best team on my account, not the best team possible. Well, no question, there's one hero, one character in the game that is better than Deimos and better than what I'm running here, and that's gonna be Salazar. Salazar is unbelievable. There's another hero out now, Valeria, the new Chaos faction member / Nightmare faction member. I've seen putting like 9 million damage and Overlord 10 million damage. She can really, if you use her right, you build her right, she can just melt the enemies away. Valeria is tremendous. She's so good at keeping herself in these fights at like that 30% threshold to get her max benefits, especially if you somehow have a Chaotic Lord to pair with her as well. And then who else? I would say maybe the only other person that I'm still not convinced, so maybe you guys convince me in the comments, but the only person I'd put above Deimos in the whole game for this, just for how much DPS, is going to be Zila 2. So that's why we might lose this fight. And I do think Zila 2 with Twin Fiend, that is going to be potent. They're very high BP. However, I don't love these choices of Valeria and Abomination. It makes me think, do they 100% know what they're doing? These are more, especially Valeria. It's not Valeria, excuse me, Valkyra. These are a bit more AoE units, but you can see they also have A1 Dolores. We have A1 Dolores. This looks like a good team. I think we're still going to absolutely melt them. So hopefully this is a good test, but a test we pass. Gonna be the exact same strategy, guys. I do all these fights manual basically all the time in the arena, but especially these ones because I just think they're fun. So basically the only thing I'll change is exactly when I choose to time the ults. But I've done, I don't know, 60, 70 manual fights the past 3 or 4 days this has been out, and I'm pretty confident that these placements are the correct placements, at least for my squad. So let's see what they're doing. They already got 2 guys out. They did a quick deploy on their Dolores. I don't think Abomination's going to be able to keep up with Wrath even, because he doesn't get the burnout as much, and certainly he won't keep out once Deimos gets out there. So we are off to an early lead. This is an interesting placement they chose. However, it's not a bad placement because you can see they've got decent range for Dolores, so they can put Zealotune down there. Maybe they can sneak someone else here. I don't remember exactly who else they're bringing. Actually, no, it's, I guess Valeria, not Valeria, Valkyra. If she's A1, she can reach this square, this tile. All right, we can drop Dolores real quick so she can charge up. I was slightly late on that deployment. Again, a lot of the user interface I do not enjoy about Arena because I'm trying to keep an eye on both sides. It's very hard. And then it's very hard to see the health bars. I really don't like that. Right, let's trigger Dolores. Again, off. We really did a great job there. So I'm triggering Dolores and I'm almost wasting her because, again, I can't see the health bar. It drives me nuts. So I thought we probably needed to do it because this is a decent team, but actually their Zealotune probably isn't built that well, even though they have so much BP, because I'm not impressed at all by what I'm seeing. And you can see this is done before it started. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This team is 30+K more BP than us. They have Zealotune and the amazing Legendary Lord Twin Fiend to buff her up. If you guys don't know, Twin Fiend's giving a penetration bonus, a crit rate bonus. Obviously, he's giving his just straight up Lord skill attribute bonus. He allows them to do focus fire, all these crazy things. But just know, you can't keep up with Deimos, baby. I mean, I've been questioning these builds. I don't know how they got so much BP because this is just an absolute slaughter right now. I was hoping for a bit of a nail biter. Trigger Dolores again. Another fight is over before it started. I'm gonna sit on Nocturne. You can see we haven't taken one lick of damage except for the single time the guy struck the ground to shoot the flame. Yeah, this fight is over again. Once you get this like sub 25% thing, if your HP is this high, the fight's over because they're gonna eventually start hitting the ground again, and it's just done. See, they hit the ground there. Now they're at 2.4. We're melting. They're still working on the first guy. We're ready to kill the second guy. They can't keep up. Straight out of France, they can't keep up with us. Let's trigger Dolores. It doesn't matter. See there, before we were able to get the kill, the guy struck the ground, hit the floor. Let's look at the stats again. I'm curious the kind of damage their Zealotune is doing. Yeah, so you can see their Zealotune was outclassed in a big way by our Wrath, let alone our Deimos. And then you can see here, guys, Arrogance. The reason Arrogance is like S tier and so good is because he's literally good at everything. But there are things where he's not the best at, you know? There's not many things he's the best at. There's specific things where he's got that amazing range, so he absolutely shines as MVP. But for a lot of things, he's just, of course you're gonna use him because he's so excellent. But then there tend to be people that like, look at Deimos. That's some crazy damage. Very cool. So let's head on in and show off the team. I think kind of we proved our point here. There's a Valeria here. We can maybe, let's try out Valeria. This will be the final fight. She's hot and dangerous. If you're one of us, then roll with us. She can put up enormous numbers. However, this team looks pretty bad. Why are you bringing Comet into this fight? It makes absolutely no sense. Unless you just don't have heroes, like it doesn't, like this guy's just placing his legendary heroes is what it seems. He's bringing Comet, he's bringing Ezreal. I mean, Valeria has self-sustain built into her kit. That's why she's so good at this fight. Yeah, these hits are kind of a joke. 60k with Valeria. There you go. See, that's the potency of Valeria. She's so good. She can carry your whole team. So, I mean, if she's built well, so far I'm not that impressed by the damage. But if she turns out to be built well once they trigger the ultimate, maybe they'll put up a fight, but my guess is no. You don't need Ezreal for this fight. You don't need a healer with Valeria, at least this way. And certainly you don't need Comet. So I'm not impressed by the squad, but maybe we can just see look at these numbers Valeria puts up. And I think this is a poorly built Valeria, honestly, because these basic attack numbers are really low. They're lower than our Wrath, and of course lower than our Deimos. So let one hit from Arrogance, then we'll trigger. This is gonna be another bloodbath. Well, you're seeing, I mean, I'm proving my point pretty hard here. You guys saw with the anti-air arena, I was like, this is my best strategy. We can even take on Hatset teams, but I still lose. This team, I don't lose. Honestly, I haven't lost in like, I don't know what it is, 30 or 40 straight battles. The only way I would lose is by fighting a really strong Salazar team, typically, or a really strong Valeria team, but I don't do that because I don't want to lose. And there are very few of those teams. Where I look and I go, okay, that team is 325 KBP, they've got Dolores, they've got Wrath, and they're bringing Salazar, and I'm like, okay, that Salazar is gonna just mop the floor with us. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, pretty good. You see, now they're gearing up. Now they're doing some cool stuff. So finally, we lost our first round. So they triggered their Valeria here, and you can see the potency of her. You saw how she wasn't doing much before. We do still have Dolores active. Now I got to focus on making sure we don't lose this thing. Look at Valeria. She just melts that thing. She's so good. Guys, if you pulled Valeria and you're like, oh no, I wanted Broke here, like you got an absolute monster in Arena. All right, we take the lead again. See, it's just basically, they finally got one bit of timing right. And I will say, not to totally roast whoever we're playing, it's so much easier to play on manual against the silly decisions the computer makes. So no real judgment to you, Artur, straight out of Russia. I get it, man. I get it. So there we go, guys. We're really climbing high in Overlord. Let's check the damage here. Look at Valeria, almost 5 million. And she actually did outdamage our Deimos and did outdamage our Wrath. So pretty cool. And you'll see, guys, I find it interesting. They keep saying Wrath is MVP. Even though he keeps getting less damage than Deimos. I'm wondering if it's because he's also putting out the most heals, taking the most damage. He's just kind of doing the most things. I wonder if they calculate it by just doing a summation of these three things. So yeah, sweet. There you go. You can see. So yeah, a big thing comes. It's like, let's look. Is there any team here I wouldn't fight? No, we would easily beat these two teams. But yeah, you can imagine. Let's see. Let's go to the top. Can we see the rankings? Can I see the teams they're using? So yeah, if we encountered a team like this with a Torador, so let alone a Wrath, a Torador who's just the best faction leader for this fight, and then they threw out a Valeria and an A4 Salazar, I mean, of course, he's #1 in the world, shout out to Uncle Acid, we would be like, no thank you, let's move on. But maybe we can find a bit more normal of a team if we go down to like 40. Yeah, so there you go again. It's like, basically, also Silas is really good for this fight. I do still think Deimos is probably better because the faction lines up way better. But yeah, if we found this A1 Salazar, an A5 Dolores, and then an A2 Silas, and then of course the same Arrogance and the same Wrath we have, we'd say, you know what, 360 KBP, it's gonna be a no from me, buddy. you win before it started. Okay, so let's show off the team. We'll start with our Nightmare units. So you guys saw Deimos already. I will take you through the awakenings really quick now. So A1, he gets a little bit of healing, which he doesn't need for this fight, but it's just nice to have just in general. A2, we get some crit rate built in, that makes it easier. Now here is the tearing stat cap, +1, this is huge, we'll go into his kit in 1 second. Penetration, enormous, that's part of the way he's melting away these big bosses. And then the ignore defense, 15% when you reach tearing full. You don't really know too much about him. We got a big double hitter when you level up 170% over the 2 hits. With his basic attack. We got some major increases to his HP, his attack, and his defense, and then he's getting 4 consecutive strikes. Crazy on his ultimate. He just slashes like insane, and then that all builds up to his passive here, tearing. He's going to build stacks when you have him like mine. With Awaken 3, instead of 6 stacks, he's getting 7 stacks. When you skill him up, instead of 10%, he's getting 15% increased damage. So when you get full stacks, so if you hit the same target now 7 times, you get 7 stacks plus 15%, that's 105% bonus damage, plus throw in the Awakening 5, where you're ignoring the defense. That is how he's able to do all the crazy stuff he's doing. A5 Wrath, I'm not going to break down everything on him, but just the A5 here. When Heavy Blow is triggered, which is his ultimate, the hero restores HP equal to 30% of the total damage dealt. I mean, you saw how big those heals were. I mean, most of these heals are teeny tiny. Like Deimos here is getting, the game is freezing. Deimos here on the A1 is getting, during the effect of his ultimate, he's getting damage restores 3%. So then imagine now damage restoring 30%. That's that potent. Here's our Arrogance, no awakenings to speak of here. And nothing too much to talk about. I guess the main thing will be, you guys all know how strong Arrogance is. I'm of course going to put out a guide on him soon, but you guys can see that attack range. It's really great. What really matters is that diagonal, since we're facing him this way, the up to his left and then 1 up, directly to his left and then 1 up, the tile, that diagonal tile, that's where we have the boss hang out, and like him and Zealot really shine as people that can fill that role, that placement strategy, because very few people have that range. I think Aspen has it too, but compared to Arrogance or Zealot, Aspen is dog water. All right, so those are our Nightmare units. Let's go over to Infernal. We're still on Fighter, one moment. So here's our sweet girl Dolores. There's Mama Dolores. As you can see here, it's all about this inspiration, plus 40% inspiration to allies in range for 22 seconds when it's fully skilled up. However, I also put a soul stone into her to get her, you guys know Dolores, to get an extra 20%. So again, 60% of her attack basically is getting shared to everyone in range. So my Dolores has just over 10k attack. I'll show you right now. Where are you? There you go. She's got 10.3k attack. So it's just over 6k attack. Boost to everyone whenever that ultimate is active. That's a bit nutty. Finally, we got our nice guy Nocturne. Here he is. And Nocturne's awesome. You see we didn't need him much. He's our last deployment. He doesn't fit in with the factions and he's not providing support, but he has provided really big damage. I build my Nocturne with like no crit rate, just pump that attack as high as I can get it. You can see here we got it up to just under 18k. Actually, his artifact was off. That just shows you how confident I was with this that I didn't even have to check. I do put the Mob Bucket artifact on him, the Ancestral Presence. No, the reason it's off is because there's one on Dolores and one on Deimos. Guys, high attack for this because when you get higher in Overlord, the defense is really high. It's kind of huge, but we could run this on him. This is maybe even, actually, this is even better. Attack increased by 20% when deployed. He's never going to take damage, so this just holds. This is going to be best in slot for him for this fight, actually, without a doubt. So I'm glad I didn't have an Ancestral Presence on him. But essentially, it's all about this Dark Sacrifice. I'm going to hopefully land one more skill up there soon, and you get a 20% chance to trigger real damage equal 380% of attack. So 380%, so 3.8 times your attack, and that's it. No mitigation. It can be really huge. Plus, and any other multipliers that happen when you're triggering those hits. His ultimate's really nice. We don't have him fully skilled up yet, but you can see I care a lot about this champion because I've been putting skill ups on him, and I use one of my best artifacts on him a lot. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative. The grind for glory will continue tomorrow. We had a crazy weekend, and here's the little surprise. We got pulls coming right now. We beat Gear Raid 219 live on stream last night, and I said if we beat it, we would do the 3 remaining ancient pulls we had, plus one 10 pull of rare summoning crystals. You're gonna see it went pretty crazy. All right, folks, let's hop on in. Alrighty, folks, we're gonna do some surprise summons. We just cleared Gear Raid 219 on our 4th stream, trying to grind it, trying to finish it off. We finally did it. So to celebrate, we're just gonna do a couple summons. We got 2 free ones from those 7-day rewards, wherever those are. So we got those. And then I got lucky and landed on one of the mystery men in the Odyssey of Dreams, and they gave me one as well. I think this guy over here maybe. So we're gonna rip 3 of these, and then if we don't hit anything, we'll do 1 10 pull of blues. That'll be it. Just a little surprise fun summons here live on stream. Let's see. Shellor, some of the best abs in the whole realm, but not what we're looking for. Sorzus. Sorzus. All right. It's hard to get your hopes up for 3, but you never know. Our last shot here. Is my Pyros in this? Let's see. Bore it. At least we got a Lord. Better than nothing. All right, let's go here and let's just rip it before we have time to think about it. Do I have any divine? No, I don't. Boom. Okay, that's gold. That's gold. That's gold. That's gold, baby. That's how it's done. Wow, our luck this weekend is outrageous. Outrageous. Okay, I'll take a dupe abomination. Why not? Why not? We'll take it. I feel like everyone and their mom has a dupe abomination, so now we can join the club. If I'm not mistaken, he gets A1. I mean, obviously he gets A1, but I think at A1 he gets stuns. So little crowd control should just make him even better for Gear Raid 1 and the things we're going to use him for. Even better in AoE Arena. Yeah, so basic attacks, his charged attacks triggered by his basic attacks will now inflict target with stun. Stun is, I wish it was slow, dude, but we'll take it. I love Abomination. I use him in so many things. So like if they ever add like an artifact material raid 19 or 20 or something, this will be super useful. And definitely will help us in Gear Raid 1. That's a great dupe to get. Let's just see the charged attack. Is this gonna be, where's his charged attack? Okay, deals 100% damage to one enemy with a 15% chance of triggering a charged attack that deals 120% AoE damage. So just get a lot of attack speed on him like you're gonna have anyway. And then hit those big AoEs that you want to hit, and then hit those stuns. So it's pretty sweet. And then obviously we can get the amazing AoE and the cool stuff that happens when he hits the max after the two to 2 fill-ups on his ultimate. So I'm pretty happy with that. So much gold this weekend. I've been so lucky this weekend. So just to recap, we did 8 pulls on Ancient Summons, and we got Morrigan. And now including this, we've done 110 pulls of Blue Summons, and we've gotten 3 Legendary Champions from 110 summons. So the 2x is alive and well. I'm going to claim these 2, but now I'm going to start saving, because if you guys didn't hear, Hex was just announced. So it's time to start saving people, because Hex is going to be like the best magic dealer marksman there is in the game. So going to be pretty cool. And there you have it, a big and beautiful A1 Abomination. That is a great dupe to get. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you liked this video, please like it. If you want to comment, comment. If you want to share it, share it. Maybe with your mom. I don't know. I'll see you in the next one.
Fastidious.